Okay, are we all set? What a cool place for a press conference. How many times do you get to have a press conference at Husky Deli? Now, come on. This is perfect. Welcome everyone, and thank you for coming this morning. My name is Clay Eels, and I am the Executive Director of the Southwest Seattle Historical Society. And here's how this morning will proceed. We'll get you out of here before 9:30. I'll have some introductory remarks, and then we will unveil a brand new video introduced by Renee Commons. And then we will hear from Jack Miller live, not just on video. And then we will present a ceremonial first letter to Jack Menashe. And then we will open up the press conference for questions to anyone involved. So, on to the question of the morning. What makes the West Seattle Junction so special? Now, we all have personal answers to that question, and they all revolve around a very rich history. And today, we are pleased to announce that for the first time, the historical character of the West Seattle Junction will be documented in a professional survey. Now, the survey is funded by a $10,000 grant from For Culture, which is the cultural services agency for King County. And we are launching the survey today. The survey will be conducted over the next 6 months. We will elicit data and anecdotal information by interviewing up to 45 property owners in the 2-block core of the junction. We also are contracting with an architectural historian to identify the elements that define the junction's character, that give it uniqueness, and that allow it to thrive as the business hub of the West Seattle Peninsula. Now, this is a truly collaborative project of several organizations. There's the Southwest Seattle Historical Society. There's the Southwest District Council, represented by Deb Barker and Chaz Redmond. Wave your hands. There is the West Seattle Junction Association, represented by Susan Melrose. There's the Junction Neighborhood Organization, JUNO, one of the coolest acronyms ever, represented by Renee Commons. And ArtsWest, represented by Edie Neeson and Judy Piggott. And the importance of this event is underscored today by the presence of the aide to Seattle City Council member Tom Rasmussen, Evan Clifthorne. Now, the purpose of this survey is singular. The purpose is solely to gather information that will be useful to everyone concerned about the future of the junction. One of the aims of the survey is to determine if buildings in the junction would qualify for nomination as Seattle landmarks, which is part of why we are involving property owners as the key stakeholders. And as we have seen from recent news, landmark status can foster new life for beloved buildings. Just look at what is in store in our very own neighborhood for the Admiral Theater and the Alki Homestead. But investigating landmark potential is only one possible result of the survey. The survey results also could be used to put together promotional materials that focus on the uniquely historical aspects of this treasured business district that serves us all. The survey also could have other positive practical uses that none of us can anticipate. That's part of why you do a survey. And this is where the mission statement of the survey comes in. The survey, quote, aims to capture and articulate the essence of the junction's character to help the district move forward by honoring its past. The survey will study the West Seattle Junction by consulting with property owners and identifying historic and noteworthy architectural features that enhance the district's welcoming visual appeal and business climate. The results will identify elements of the West Seattle Junction that define its character, that give it uniqueness, and allow it to serve as the thriving hub of our peninsula. Now, you should all know, many of you already do, that the district got its name just before West Seattle's annexation to Seattle in 1907, when the West Seattle and the Fauntleroy streetcar lines converged at a transfer point at California Avenue and Alaska Street, just 1/2 block from here, forming the junction. That's why the streetcar is the visual symbol of our survey. And now I will ask Renee Commons of the Junction Neighborhood Association to introduce and to debut a wonderful 3-minute video produced by Elisa Primos of Juneau that captures the essence of why this survey will be such an important information gathering tool. And then after the video, the star of the video, Jack Miller, will speak, and then we will present the ceremonial first survey letter to Jack Menashe. Renee, would you please introduce the video?
Thank you, Clay. It's really a pleasure to be here tonight to kick off the Historical Survey Group's first production, and we were happy to share this video that was produced for Juneau, for the Juneau website, which is under construction right now. And it's currently on our Juneau Facebook page, so if you'd all like to sign on, it's West Seattle Juneau. What we wanted to do, our whole goal here was to profile community members, both business owners and individuals within the community that we felt were all-stars. We all live here because we love the West Seattle Junction. I represent Juneau, which is the West Seattle Junction Community Council organization recognized by the City of Seattle. And we wish to just promote our neighborhood and protect its character and continue to make it a great place to live, work, and play. And so we started with our favorite community all-star, which is Jack Miller of the Husky Deli. My kids have grown up in West Seattle, and we've always come here since they were very little, and now they're onward. My youngest graduates from high school this year. And we spent a Sunday afternoon here profiling or interviewing Jack. Brandon Bills is not here tonight, but he did the interviewing. He's a Juneau member. And Elisa took many clips of Jack in front of the store in the back, and we talked for a few hours and put this wonderful video together, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
There's a sense of pride over here. I mean, it's not like you're part of Seattle, you're West Seattle. And it feels like its own town. It always has. You got real boundaries, you got a river, you got water on all sides, and you're a real town, a real place. It's not like you're between the freeway and Aurora, north of 45th and south of 85th. I think that makes it more of a community here. We've got homemade ice cream.
Yeah, she even said that not go to Huskies. Not just ice cream.
I mean, we make our own salads. We make good, normal sandwiches, good food. We try to carry things that other stores don't have. It's just a good hometown place to hang. When people leave town and they come back after being gone, the first thing they do, they go to Spuds and Alki for fish and chips, and then they come to Huskies for ice cream, and they drive around town looking to find all the places that are the same. They look for things that they remember.
Husky Deli.
And we're always still here. Which is kind of fun. The town is changing so much that you look for the things that you remember. When I look up, I'm looking at the buildings across the street. Yeah, as they go up. I mean, it is kind of welcome, but it's also kind of scary because it will change things. You know, when you see Georgetown, you see Ballard Avenue, and you see our little junction, if you get decent rent, you will have creative people opening businesses, you know, running their own businesses. You know, it's really nice to see. You get any new buildings built, and the banks are involved, and they want top rent. This is their investment, they want top rent. You know, $50 a square foot, triple net. You're not going to get anybody but national chains. And that's what happened to Bellevue, that's what happened to Redmond, Kirkland. I mean, it kind of rips the soul out of the place, and we're hoping that this will stay. So it is a normal hometown place. And you want it to stay that way, and I think it will. You know, when Renee came and interviewed me, this is exactly how I feel about this place. And you know, it's kind of cool and it's kind of scary, but you know, it's cool because West Seattle is such a great town. If you just moved here or if you were born here, it's hard not to love it over here. You know, and you know, when you think of all these people coming. If you could live anywhere in the world, you'd want to live in America, you know. If you could live anywhere in America and you had a computer and you were smart, even if it wasn't for all the jobs, you'd want to live in Seattle. And they're moving here quick. And it's hard not to feel like, you know, you're laying in the middle of the street and a cement truck's heading right at you. You know, it's you want to kind of protect your town. And you know, you see kids that you grew up with come to visit, and they love West Seattle, but they don't live here anymore because they can't afford it. They moved to Burien or Kent or somewhere, and it's kind of scary. But I think this little group that we've got will help. You know, we need to, you know, prepare for what is coming, and you don't want to be the high school kid who had a party when his parents are out of town and everybody showed up and trashed your house. You know, so I'm really glad that we have this going. I'm glad all you guys are here. I'm really glad Chaz came up with this so we can actually take a look at what's going on and try to prepare for what is inevitably happening. And thank you.
Hi there. Excuse me. My name is Susan Melrose. I'm the director of the West Seattle Junction Association, and it's been exciting for our organization to participate in this project. We have so many wonderful small businesses like Husky Deli, Elliott Bay, Logo Pro, Curious Kids Stuff, Hotwire Online Coffee House, all here to share this day with us. And of course, Menashe's and Sons Jeweler. So I want to take this opportunity to introduce Jack Menashe.
I've talked to her about 2-3 weeks ago, and I told her I was going to be out of town and that I wanted her to call me and remind me, because I usually don't get going this early in the morning. But it's really a pleasure to be here. And then just to carry on one more thing that Jack and I have in common, besides having the same first names, is, you know, talking about the small town. As you probably all know, he's got two of his kids in the family business, and the same with me. I've had 2 of my 4 children in the family business, and for a number of years, and it's certainly rewarding. And I kind of sympathize with everything. I think our lives are so busy that sometimes we forget how fast time goes, and we're seeing all these changes here and so forth. And you know, there's different opinions. You know, I read an article this morning about Vashon Island. It's not so much about business, but it was about the pro and cons as families and parents about vaccines, and we've all read so much about that lately, and I'm certainly being all the years that I've been here in the Junction as a business, and of course living here, and my wife is born and raised here, we certainly being very visible, and I know Jack does too, is everybody's different opinions about everything that's going on, and the old timers, you know, as we get older, it is a little bit more difficult to accept change, and to hear all the different people that come in, and from real estate peoples to, like I say, people that are third and fourth generation that he has as customers, as I have as customers, is rather interesting. And I think this organization and what we're going to do, I think is really going to be helpful. And I really, really take my hat off to all the different groups that are participating in this. So, thank you.
Thank you. And so with that said, so Jack, you are a longtime business owner in the West Seattle Junction, a property owner as well. And so the West Seattle Historical Survey Group would like to formally invite you to sit down with us and so we can conduct a survey and pick your mind and build a history about the history and what makes the Junction special. So here you go. We'd like to formally invite you.
Very good, thank you.
Do you accept, Jack?
I do accept.
Fabulous.
Obviously, I didn't have any words prepared, but you know, one thing I did do last night that ties in with all of this. I spent an hour, and I do this about 4 or 5 times a year, looking at, and Leon remembers, Jack remembers, and a lot of the people here remember the book that was printed years and years ago on the West Seattle history of business here in the area. And you talk about generations and changes and so forth. I knew what was coming up today, but just to see that again and to see what's going on here today is certainly change. Thank you.
Thank you.
West Side Story lives again. What do you know? Thank you, Jack. Okay, this is a press conference. We have lots of supporters here, but time for the press. Any questions you have for me, for Jack, for Renee, for Susan, for Chaz, for Deb, anybody in the room?
Yes. First thing is, process-wise, once this is done, what actually happens that will keep it from being a wonderful report that is then set on a shelf and nothing really happens? Is there any obligation once it's done for anybody to do anything with it?
The scope of the survey is information gathering alone. But I can assure you, and you can feel the energy in the room, we have the wherewithal here to use the results in the best way possible. And as I said earlier, there are several ways it could be used, and even ways that we don't even know. I would not only challenge, but require every group who's on that letterhead to really take it as a duty once these survey results are out to really study them and go to the next level, go to the next chapter. One of the things when you do a survey is you don't know what the results are, so you got to wait and see what the results are. But I am sure that there will be follow-ups from this.
Is there any chance that something will result like a Pike Pine Historic District? I've been covering much of the early discussion of this in the Southwest District Council over the past year, and this becomes the final form for now, but has anyone made any noises about that?
Of course, there's been conceptual talk about that, but nothing specific. And again, we're just about gathering the information at this point. And of course, it's a political process, what you're talking about, and it's an election year. So there are a lot of factors that come into this. Edie Neeson of ArtsWest.
ArtsWest has definite plans to move forward with.
Edie, would you like to come up here and speak?
Watch out for the cords.
Just tilt it down. ArtsWest has definite plans to pursue a designation from the city of Seattle that West Seattle is an arts and cultural district. As one of ArtsWest board members said just a week or so ago, the Junction is a beating heart for the Duwamish Peninsula. From that beating heart, we have very strong veins to other parts of West Seattle that have rich arts and cultural amenities. In the Junction, you have ArtsWest, but you also have, I just learned on the blog, live music at Pogie's Tavern. We have a school of rock just a few blocks away from the Junction. We have a vintage guitar shop north of the Junction. So we have a list of some 80 organizations that provide arts and culture to residents of West Seattle. So we will be sending out notices by email, in the press, on the blog, to encourage artists, individual artists, as well as arts organizations and businesses to take an online survey that's on the website of the City of Seattle that will demonstrate that we have a rich arts and culture district in this peninsula. So, thank you.
Any other questions? I think we're closing in on a half hour, but if there are any other questions, this is the time. I just ask you all to look around the room, look at the faces in the room, and look at the organizations they represent. This is West Seattle. Thank you so much for coming this morning, and we'll see you down the road.